Hey y'all, this is Annie, and I thought I would make a list with me slash scent list musings video for the Salt Mountain Melts pre-order that's coming up this weekend, April 28th. It will be on Sunday afternoon into the evening, and it opens at 2 o'clock Mountain Time, so check what time that is for you in whatever time zone you're in. I'm in Central Time, so that means it'll open up at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then it is anticipated to close at 10 o'clock Mountain Time, so 11 p.m. for Central Time. There's a possibility she might reach her turnaround time, like the max that she can produce, and meet her turnaround time before then. So I recommend just getting your order in, in the earlier part of the day so that if she does have to close early, you don't miss out. She'll make that kind of an announcement on her Facebook group. So I highly recommend joining it so you've got all the details, and it's a great group with lots of people who can help you if you have questions about scents. So here's the website, saltmountainmelts.com. It won't be available to view until the pre-order is live. So if you go there right now, you're not going to see anything. But once the pre-order is open, you should be good to go. The turnaround time is 8 weeks plus shipping time. The shipping time can be 7 to 10 business days, basically. So just add another 2 weeks on and some time for it to travel through, the shipping network. So this is going to be about 10 to 11 weeks out, depending on how fast the shipping process goes and if you're towards the beginning or the end of all the boxes that go out. So just be aware of that. With pre-orders, I know it's not as fast as getting your wax from an RTS, but Amanda's wax is totally worth it, in my opinion. Amanda is the owner. She's based in Utah, if you're not familiar with her wax. And I'm not going to read all of this to y'all. This is some shipping information and policy information. Basically, she doesn't combine orders, so make your list and go in once if you can. That way you're not having to pay additional shipping cost because there's not a combined code. And then you can read all of this here, but there is a flat rate fee. If you order 6 souffles or less, it'll be sent out in a padded flat rate envelope, and that is $9, I believe. And then for everything over that, there's a flat rate of $12.50 for shipping. And then if for some reason you have a really big order and, she has to send out 2 large flat rate boxes, which is going to be a lot more than $12.50 in shipping costs, she'll just invoice you for the amount over the $12.50 at the time of shipping when it comes time to send out your box. And you just pay that invoice at that point, and then she'll send your box out. Here's policy information. You can pause the video and read it. I'm not going to go over that. So every scent on this list is available in these 3 sizes. You can get as many as you want. You can get every scent, there's no limit on what you can order here. She offers souffles, tubs, and loaves. The souffles are approximately 4.5 ounces, and those are $7. Tubs are approximately 8 ounces. That's $12.40. The tubs do have lids on them. And then loaves are approximately 12 ounces, and those are $18.60. If you're unfamiliar with her wax, everything except for the tubs will either be in a metal souffle cup or the metal loaf pans, and then slide inside of a polypropylene wax safe bag that's zipped, and it will have the label with the cute designs that Amanda does on her labels, the scent notes, the pour date, and everything on there. And then the tubs will have the label on top of the lid of the tubs. Those are not inside of a Ziploc sack. But that, again, is also wax-safe plastic. If you're not sure if the plastic that something is packaged in is safe for wax, just look on the bottom. There's a triangle and a number inside. And if it says 5, then that is the symbol for polypropylene plastic, and that means it is safe for wax use. There's not going to be issues from fragrance oil degrading the plastic and losing scent. So if you're ever concerned about that, just look at the bottom and look for the number inside the triangle. 5 is the one you want to see, and that's what's on the bottom of her tub packaging. Now, this all breaks down, if you're curious what price per ounce is. They are consistently all $1.55 an ounce. There's not a volume discount with the loaves. So I find that information helpful when I'm looking at budgeting and where to spend my money. All right, I'm going to go over the scent list now, and I'm going to do some tentative placement on where I'm thinking about going. I know this is just a starting point for me, and by the time I get to my order, I will probably have weighted some of this down or done a little bit of rearranging, but for now, this is just kind of instinctively my thoughts on what sizes I'm thinking about getting. Please keep in mind, some of these scents are just not scents that are going to be my particular scent preferences, but it doesn't mean that that's not a great scent. So if the scent notes sound good to you, go with what sounds good to you. And on this list, there are 21 blends. There are 7 new blends. There's a lot of new blends this pre-order. Very exciting. And then there are 14 returning scents. Of the returning scents, I have melted 11 of those. So as we go along the scent list, I'll give you a warm review and my thoughts on what that scent smelled like to me. This past week, I have remelted quite a few of those just to make sure that I am really not losing details of what the scent smelled like, because it's been a while for some of them. Then, all right, let's go ahead and hop in. First up is All Your Dreams and Vending Machines. I know there's a lot of hype, a lot of people really excited for this blend, and it is a popular lavender blend. Lots of people love this one, people who are OG fans of Salt Mountain. This scent note is lavender marshmallow, frosted sugar cookies, and cotton candy frosting. I melted this 3 different times this last week, just trying to see if I could find a scenario with warmers, different placement in rooms and stuff, if I could get a whiff of that sugar cookies, but I don't. The dominant part of this blend is the cotton candy frosting, and there's 2 cotton candy frosting oils out there in the vendor wax community that I've noticed, and one of them is I just don't really care for, and this happens to be that particular cotton candy frosting oil. Now, I know a lot of people love that cotton candy frosting. It smells like the cotton candy frosting oil from Rose Girls, if you are familiar with that. That's what this cotton candy frosting smells like exactly. And I'm just not a fan of it. My nose, is picky with certain scents, and it has an artificial note to it that I just don't care for. So that is the dominant part of this blend to me. It's possible that that is stronger in my perception because it's something I don't like, that it jumps out more than it would to someone else. It's very sweet because of the cotton candy frosting, and I do get lavender in there, but my nose, again, is just so latched onto the cotton candy frosting. I'm having a hard time identifying the lavender on its own in the blend. So I don't know if the lavender is sweet or if it's more herbal leaning, and I don't want to make the call on that just because of my perception. So it'll likely smell quite a bit different to other people. I'm just getting a lot of cotton candy frosting with a lavender note, and I'm not getting the sugar cookies in here. That being said, really good performer. It's very strong, and if you pop it in, a couple hours before bedtime, you're probably gonna smell it in the morning when you wake up, because it has kind of a good lasting power in the warmers. I don't know that I'm going to pick up more of it just because of the cotton candy frosting. I might pick up a souffle. I have a friend who really likes lavender scents here, and I may see if she likes it, but I'm on the fence on that. So for now, I'm just going to not move it up into the sections and keep going. Next up is Barbie a la mode, and this is pink sugar, cotton candy frosting, and southern vanilla ice cream. This one, oh y'all, I enjoyed this so much when I melted it earlier this week. Really sweet, yummy blend. It's not really gourmand, but it's sweet with that vanilla bean ice cream note, and I don't really get the cotton candy frosting in this one, which I'm glad about. I get a lot of that southern vanilla ice cream and the pink sugar. Those are the dominant parts, and that southern vanilla ice cream note really reminds me of vanilla bean ice cream. If you've ever had the vanilla bean, I think it's like the natural vanilla bean or something like that, from Bluebell, or if you've gotten, like, for cooking, the vanilla bean paste. So it's like in a jar, and it's this thick kind of paste that's got all the little black seeds that are inside the vanilla pods, and it brings such a delicious vanilla intense flavor to whatever you're cooking. I'm getting that kind of a vanilla bean sweetness and the pink sugar, and it's really delicious. Now, my home struggles with a lot of vanilla scents, so this was not a powerhouse for me. That being said, it did really well in my bedroom, and it had a great lingering quality to it where it stayed at a solid medium at that like 5 to 6 mark for hours, and I really enjoyed smelling it whenever I was in there all day. And so I'm on the fence. I don't know if I need a loaf. I really like this scent, but because I'll probably be restricted to melting it in my bedroom just because of how vanilla does in my home, I think I'll probably just get a tub, but I definitely want to get more of this one. And if you're home, if you're a lucky person, I'm actually jealous of y'all who are able to do this, but if your home does well with vanilla scents, it's very possible this will be stronger for you. Definitely a good scent. Next up is a new blend. I've never had this one. This is Boardwalk Sorbet. It's watermelon sorbet, strawberry, and salty sea air. Now, this sounds amazing to me. I love melon scents, and melon and strawberry together usually pair great. She also has a fantastic strawberry oil. It's like a fresh, juicy, picked, sugary strawberry. Amanda made a post about it earlier in this week, and so if you had her strawberry in like Backyard Bash or Mon Cherie, which is one of my favorites from her, you know that really good, fresh, juicy, like almost a realistic strawberry. It's like super, super sweet and delicious smelling. So that with watermelon sounds great. And I do enjoy salty sea air blends, but I've had salty sea air from other vendors, not Amanda, where the salty sea air just blew everything else that was in the blend out of the water just because it was just too much in the blend. And it was basically like melting salty sea air and not much else there. But I've never experienced that with Amanda. She exercises great restraint with these kinds of oils and knows not to overdo them. And so don't worry about if this blend has a salty sea air and you are worried about that, this just being another salty sea air blend, fragrance that smells like that, because that's not going to be the case. You will get the other notes, and then the salty sea air will just be complementing them. And I can see how it will just add a freshness and a summeriness, and also that salty brininess that the salty sea air has will help cut a little bit of the sweetness of the fruit. So this one, personally, I think sounds amazing. Yes, I've never smelled it, I've never melted it, but I'm gonna put myself down for a loaf because it just sounds super appealing, and I think Amanda does fruity blends extremely well, among many other categories. She pretty much does everything really well. She's great at blending. Next up is Bomb Pop. That's cherry slushy, blue raspberry slushy, and Fizzy Pop. I know a lot of people are very excited to see this one come back because it's been, I think, 2 years, and this is a beloved fan favorite from Amanda. That being said, I don't love this one for a few reasons. Fizzy Pop, I've just burned myself out on it back in 2021, and I just struggle melting scents that have Fizzy Pop in them since then. And the cherry note, Amanda, she's known for doing a lot of great cherry blends, and she has several different cherry fragrance oils that she uses. They're not all the same cherry notes. And I initially got this one thinking this was going to be one of the cherry scents that I really love from her, that maraschino cherry oil that she uses, but it's not. This one is a cherry candy, like the bright red cherry lifesaver Jolly Rancher type scent. It's very, very, very sweet to me. I'm not a big candy scent lover, and I don't like the cherry candy oil from anyone at all. So it's not an Amanda thing, it's just my scent preference. So that's the cherry in this. If you don't like cherry candy scents, I don't know that you will like this one. That being said, overall, this smells like drinking like a big cherry candy Sprite, basically. You get that kind of fizzy carbonation from the Fizzy Pop. It's really not overdone. You do have a good balance here. Fizzy Pop is not the only thing that you smell. It just jumps out a lot to me, that lemon lime kind of Sprite scent, and I'm just not a fan of it. So those are the things I get from this. I don't really get the blue raspberry slushy. I'm sure it's actually there if I wasn't so distracted by the notes that I don't care for. But if you like candy, fruity, really sweet, fruity, Fizzy Pop type blends, you might enjoy this one. And I will say this one is very strong. This one is borderline a powerhouse thrower one. It will go 24 hours if you let it, and you'll smell it throughout your house. So if you're looking for a really, really strong scent, this is one of the ones on the list that I think will likely do well in pretty much any space that you have. So I'm not adding this one to my list. Next up is Carnival Cupcakes. This is Cupcakes at Tiffany's, kettle corn, and strawberry pound cake. I know Lexi's really excited this one's coming back. If you're not following Lexi from Two Quick Wicks, you should go follow her. She's just a bright ray of sunshine and such a positive, pleasant person to watch. So this one is delicious. The Cupcakes at Tiffany oil, I know that scares a lot of people because people worry about the chocolate note in there, but there are I believe there's 3 different Cupcakes at Tiffany oils out there, and this one that Amanda uses does not smell like chocolate when you melt it. I get rich, dense yellow cupcake note with a dense vanilla and toffee buttercream. And when I say toffee, I'm thinking that kind of like English toffee, if you've ever gotten like the English toffee brittle, not with chocolate in it, but that kind of almost like a Heath bar, but without the chocolate on it. So that kind of crunchy bit of caramely toffee note that's buttery and sweet, caramelized, crunchy sugar. That's kind of in there with that buttercream and the yellow cake note. It's very rich, gourmand, and delicious. And then that's enhanced with the kettle corn. So more sweet, caramely, slightly salty popped popcorn. And I don't know how else to describe the popcorn note in here, but it really does smell like kettle corn. If you've ever smelled that, that is in here. The strawberry pound cake adds another layer of that rich, dense vanilla pound cake note. It's a strawberry pound cake from Bath and Body Works if you're familiar with that. And it's such a good oil. Amanda's strawberry pound cake is good. So the strawberry note is not going to be the dominant part in this. I think the strawberry is just like lightly there, and it's more of a cakey, buttery blend, So if the strawberry worries you, I'll just say it's just not a huge part of this. The emphasis is more on the rich yellow cake and the pound cake notes and that kind of buttery, sweet, caramely notes of the kettle corn. This is super delicious, and I'm really glad it's coming back because I think I actually might need more, and I need to double check. I think I still have a loaf, but I finished a whole loaf this last week. I'd already been working on it a little bit, but I finished it, and so I'm probably going to get a tub, maybe a loaf of this one, just because it was just so cozy and delicious, and on a day when you just want like a really good, yummy, mostly vanilla bakery scent, and there's this richness to it. It was a really good one. So I will say, again, my house could be infecting this with performance of vanilla bakery. This is not a powerhouse, so for me, it's probably more of a bedroom scent, even though it was a solid medium in my open concept with the tall ceilings. So I just had to use more warmers and add, therefore, more wax spread out over more warmers in that area to get a decent throw in there, but that's totally doable. So yeah, maybe a loaf. I think I'm gonna pop it in the tub for right now until I know if I have a whole loaf or a tub left in my collection. Oops. Next up is Catching Rays, and this is Boom Boom, creamy coconut, banana, and suntan lotion, and it says it's reformulated, so I don't know that anyone other than Amanda right now knows exactly what this one's going to smell like, even if they've had it in the past. I've never had this one. I thought I did have it in my collection for some reason, but I went searching for it and I couldn't find it, and I think I was thinking of something else that had suntan lotion in it. So I've never had this one, and I did look through the Facebook group to see if there was a bunch of posts about there wasn't a lot of descriptions, but someone did describe it as like a banana forward banana boat type scent, which makes sense, and that sounds really good. It's kind of a nice addition to the summery type scents. It's not just fruity, and I know it sounds weird, but there's a part of the summer that like those sunscreen, suntan lotion scents, I start really wanting to smell, and so I think I'm gonna put this one down for a loaf. I don't know fully what the balance is going to be, but I do think there's going to be a decent amount of banana in here, and I don't know if it's like a Laffy Taffy banana or more of a fresh banana, but I would have to guess probably a Laffy Taffy leaning or banana sunscreen. Anyways, if you've had this one, yeah, let me know down below. It's hard to know since it is reformulated if it will be a lot like the old version or not. But if I had to guess, I'm going to guess that one's also going to be a pretty decent performer just because of the different notes in there. Banana's usually a pretty good performer. Suntan lotion's usually really strong. Boom Boom's usually pretty strong. So I don't think I need more than a loaf. This should get me quite a few melts. And yeah, I'm very excited to try this one. It sounds great. It's been a while. I think this one was on a pre-order in summer of 2021, which I accidentally missed that pre-order, so I didn't get to pick this one up. But yeah, it's good to see it back. Next up is a new blend. This is Coconut Clouds, and it's Black Coconut, Boardwalk Marshmallow Clouds, and Palo Santo. I don't know what I think about this one. I freaking love Boardwalk Marshmallow Clouds. It's one of my favorite scent oils, and she has a great Palo Santo. It is a little masculine leaning to me. It's not very smoky. It's very, very smooth Palo, and it is a woody Palo, so not an incense or cologne version. But there's still a tiny bit of a lean towards the masculine side for me on this one. I really like her Palo Santo, but I have a ton of Palo blends in my collection right now, and I just don't reach for Palo blends enough to justify getting a large amount of this one. I also don't have any familiarity with the black coconut, and I'm really grateful that someone asked in the Facebook group a few days ago, I believe, about the black coconut, and Amanda said that it was like a woody coconut with a little bit of musk to it, I believe. So this definitely intrigues me. I'm not sure if I'll go souffle or if I'll go tub. I probably should go souffle just because I have some hesitancies with it, and we'll see. I'm gonna put it there for the time being, but yeah. Anyone else had black coconut? If you have, please let us know down below what that smells like to you, because I don't think I've ever seen that scent note in anything. Next up is Crunchberry Pound Cake, and this is berries, vanilla buttercream, sweet sugar, and pound cake. I have had this one before. Actually finished up a loaf of it back in March, and it's very good. Now, I find the berry note to be a little bit artificial because this does smell like Captain Crunch and Berry cereal to me. I get a lot of that sugary kind of coating that are on those types of cereals, and then that kind of grain note that cereal has, and the kind of berry note that is there. It's not like a true berry. It is a like artificial berry that's in those cereals, and that's what it smells like. My husband likes eating those kind of sugary cereals a lot, so we have those in our house periodically. And last time I melted it, I did go get some of it out of the pantry and just sort of open it and stick my head in to kind of smell, and that's what this particular like crunchberry note smells like to me in combination with the pound cake. I don't necessarily pick up on the buttercream, but I do really get a dense, delicious vanilla, buttery, rich pound cake in there with that cereal grain sweetness and that berry note. And even though it is an artificial berry, it's not off-putting. It's really good. I do think this is not like a strong, fruity bakery. At least in my opinion, it's like pretty well balanced and probably a little bit more on the side of the cereal note without the fruit with the pound cake, in my opinion. So if you're worried about it being like too fruity, I really don't think it is. It's really delicious. It's also a solid performer in my house, and I can melt this in any of the spaces. It definitely is stronger in a smaller space just because that's how things tend to be. But I can get away with melting this in my open concept and not struggling to smell it at all. So do I need more? I don't know. I think I still have a whole loaf of it right now. So I might just put it down for a tub. I think that'll be enough, but I've really enjoyed this one. I know it may not be for everyone, but I know there's some people who really love it as well. So I'm happy to see that come back for those of you that really love this one. Next up is Easy Bake Oven. This is maraschino cherry, fruity pebbles, and cotton candy frosted cupcakes. Oh, I'm so excited for this one. I love this one. I finally started melting a loaf back in the winter time because I just wanted something bright and cheerful, and I have just become so obsessed with it. When you melt it, it just comes alive, and I think I actually like Fruity Pebbles more than Fruit Loops. They're a little bit different. Yeah, they're very similar, but Fruit Loops oils tend to be a little bit more like zesty and really leaning into the lemon lime note, whereas the Fruity Pebbles feels like, you're still getting that lemon lime orange of that cereal, but I think it's dialed back a little bit and I get more of that sort of sugary cereal note that has the citrus in it, less than like the really like punchy cereal citrus note than cereal, if that makes sense. So if you like Fruit Loop blends, if you like cereal blends, you're probably already familiar with all of but this one's really, really good. And if you got Mrs. Flintstone in the last pre-order, or if you missed it and wish you'd gotten it, this is going to be similar. They're not exactly the same. I have not melted Mrs. Flintstone yet, but I did just get my order yesterday and did smell it because I was curious about the comparison. So they are similar. The other notes, like the cotton candy frosted cupcakes, is different. This one doesn't actually have the sugar milk in here, but the maraschino cherry is not almondy or nutty like the pistachio pudding cake note in Mrs. Flintstone, if that makes sense. So Mrs. Flintstone will have the pistachio, that cherry almond kind of note in there, and this is going to be a maraschino cherry, like the kind of cherry you find on top of an ice cream sundae. It is a little bit of an artificial cherry note. It's not like a true cherry, but it's sweet and juicy. It's not cherry candy, and it's really like those red cherries that have like the little stems that you find on ice cream sundae, and that mixed with the Fruity Pebbles is just such a great combination. It's a really good performer. I'm just really happy to see this one back. I love this one, and I have a tiny little bit of a loaf that I've just not been letting myself touch since March, and like every few days I look at it and I'm like, I want you, but if I melt you, I will then be out, so I can't melt you. So very, very excited to see this one back. I don't know if I will get 3 loaves. I'm kind of thinking of doing that. I don't know. I've got to look at where my whole list overall shapes up, but basically what I'm saying is, if you like her maraschino cherry oil, if you like cereal blends like Fruit Loops or Fruity Pebbles, get this one. It's super, super good. All right, and yes, it's going in the loaf section. Next up, elephant ears. This is cinnamon sugar, flaky crust, buttery fried batter, and powdered sugar. When I first got this one, I did not like how it smelled on cold. There was like a weird note to this on cold, and it kind of reminded me of nacho cheese sauce. If you know what that like orange cheese sauce is. And I'm not sure why, because when you melt it, you don't get any of that. It changes quite a lot when you warm it. So if you get this one and you're like, oof, I don't know about it, give it a chance. Melt it, because it really changes. And oh gosh, this one's so good. This is like drool worthy. That cinnamon sugar is not spicy. It's like the cinnamon sugar if you mixed cinnamon and sugar together and like sprinkled it on top of toast. And then the flaky crust and the buttery fried batter. Oh, you really smell something flaky in here. I don't know how this is captured in scent, but it smells, frankly, very realistic. I don't know if you have ever had a palmier. They're also called elephant ears, and it's kind of like the idea of taking that laminated dough that they use for croissants. So the layers of butter and flour and sugar that are layered, over and over and over, and then they puff up in the heat of the oven to make like a croissant. But the palmier is when they actually roll it out, and they don't want it to puff up like that. They want it crunchy, a little bit kind of like those flat croissants that have been really viral lately, which I've not tasted, but I've heard a lot of people describe them as reminding them of palmiers. And it's that kind of really buttery, flaky, but crunchy note in here, and it seriously smells like that. That's been also rolled in cinnamon sugar, and the sugar has melted a little bit into the heat of that butteriness into the dough, so you're not getting any graininess. And Y'all, this one literally is, it is so delicious. If you like cinnamon sugar bakery scents, you will probably love this one. It's a very good performer. Honestly, I'm probably gonna pull it and put it in my melting basket for next month, even though it totally does not fit my theme at all, just because I want to melt more of it. So I don't know how many I need. I'm thinking initially 2 more loaves because I still have about 2/3 of a loaf, and I think I also have a souffle left. So I don't know. It's very good. Oh, and I saw someone ask about this in the Facebook group, how it compares to Midway Magic, which is like a churro cinnamon sugar note with cake batter and I believe vanilla wafers, and they do smell quite a bit different. So this one is definitely more buttery, flaky dough. The and not like raw dough, like cooked dough. The other one, you really get more of that cake batter note, and I feel like the cinnamon sugar is not quite as sweet in Midway Magic, and a little bit less of a prominent note in the scent. I think there's more cinnamon sugar in elephant ears, at least to my nose, but it's not a spicy cinnamon sugar. Please don't be scared away from that. I forgot to mention, as it cures, that nacho cheese note on cold does disappear. And again, it doesn't smell at all like that when it's melted. But if you have a cured item of this, it starts smelling more like a cocoa powder, like what you would use for baking, with a hint of the cinnamon and the powdered sugar in there. But again, when you melt it, there's not any chocolate. And I think it's just that powdered sugar note giving that feeling of cocoa in there when it's on cold. Often in fragrances, when it says powdered sugar, I feel like I don't really smell it a lot of times, but this definitely is a blend where you get the powdered sugar. It smells when you're melting it like I was just describing, but there's hints of that icing drizzle, like that glaze that you would get of powdered sugar mixed with a little milk and vanilla and sort of drizzled over something. I definitely get that in there as part of the sweetness. Overall, this whole blend is just heavenly cinnamon sugar, rich gourmand bakery. If that sounds like something you'd like, um, I would highly recommend this one. This would be one of the ones off the whole list, I think, if you're making a short list to put on it, if you like bakery. And if you get it and you don't like the way it smells on cold, please just give it a chance because this one transforms so much once it's warmed. They don't smell the same, and you just can't judge it off of the cold smell. All right, moving on. Next up, Fireside Cookies. This is roasted pine cones, Palo Santo, marshmallow fireside, and sugar cookie royale. So I had to dig this out because I only got a souffle last fall and I hadn't melted it. So this is the brainchild of Summer. If you're not following her, you should go follow her channel. And she loves Palo Santo. She loves these types of scents, and she really, really loves roasted pine cones, which has been a super popular oil lately. I am not extremely familiar with the roasted pine cones on its own. I've melted a few different blends with it in there, but I feel like I don't have a great grasp of what it actually smells like on its own, to be fair. So I'm probably not the best person to describe this scent. But I did go ahead and melt this one this week. And first of all, this is a powerhouse. Very, very, very strong. Secondly, the dominant thing I get is the roasted pine cones, which to me smells basically like a pine tree or like a Christmas tree, but with a little bit of the stringency pine needly note dialed back just a hair. It's still really strong. It's just not quite as sharp as like straight up a pine tree. Then after that, I got the Palo Santo, and then in the background was the marshmallow fireside. Honestly, I really did not pick up on the sugar cookie specifically, but I think that it was there still because there's a really creamy richness to this blend and it's sweet. And I think that's coming from the sugar cookie royale and the marshmallow fireside. Almost kind of like when you fill up those jars with like big rocks, that's like the roasted pine cones, and then you put smaller pebbles in, and that's the Palo Santo, and then you put like even smaller pebbles in, and that's the marshmallow fireside, and then you put or the marshmallow fireside would be like the sand grains that you pour in. And then you realize there's still a little bit more space to like really fill in all the edges, and you pour some water in, and you can't necessarily see the water in the jar because everything else is like filling the jar, but you know it's there and it's filling in all the little crevices. I feel like that's what the Sugar Cookie Royale is doing in this blend, and I was surprised. I like this blend. And I think this is also a blend that really shows off how incredibly good Amanda is with her blending skills. She has such a great sensibility on balancing scents because the roasted pine cones, the Palo Santo, and the marshmallow fireside are all quite strong scents on their own. And when you put three really strong things like that in a blend, it's easy to have one of them kind of overpower the others or them seem like they're kind of clashing in a way. But I don't get that in this blend. This one really, really well done, and I liked it. I might get a tub of it because I think during the late winter, or sorry, late fall, moving into some of the colder months in winter here, it'd be a really good transitional scent. It's not one I'll like melt a ton of, but I also don't think I need it in every warmer just because it's pretty strong. So I think I'm going to put it in for a tub. If you like those kinds of scents, it's really, really well done. Okay. Next up, Founding Fathers. This is Cuban tobacco, smoked vanilla, and blue sugar. I've never smelled this one. It's not been offered in a really long time, and I've tried to see descriptions in the Facebook group what this smells like, but there really isn't any information there, so I'm kind of blind on this scent. I'm not familiar with a lot of tobaccos. I don't think I've ever melted anything with a Cuban tobacco in it either, so I don't know what this is going to smell like at all, but I am curious. And the blue sugar being in here is probably the biggest reason why I'm even going to order some of this, just because I'm curious. I love blue sugar scents. It's more of a midnight masculine version of pink sugar, which is like the more feminine daytime side of a perfume take on cotton candy, if that makes sense. So the blue sugar, it's got some of the anise notes and like a deeper caramel, like creme brulee, that topping, not the custard part, to it. And for that reason, I'll probably pick this up in a souffle just because I'm really curious. But if you've had this one, would you please let me know down below your thoughts on it? I just think there's not much information for anyone who's newer to Salt Mountain to decide, if they would like this blend or not. And it would be very helpful. Next up, this is a new blend also. Island Laundry. It's Gain Island Fresh, strawberry, and cotton candy. I think this is Dawn's scent idea, which I think is a great idea. I freaking love some laundry with a fruity note in it, and especially entering into the summer months, I really love fruity scents and fresh scents, and laundry blends have really started growing on me the last like 2 years, so this one is going to be a low for me. I don't know exactly what the balance is going to be, but I know that Amanda does a great job with her laundry blends, even though that's not really what she's known for. So if this sounds at all good to you, I'd suggest picking up just a souffle and giving it a try, because every laundry scent that I have picked up from her, I have actually really enjoyed. So I'm getting a loaf. I really honestly think I'm going to love it. So let me know. Do you like fruity laundry scents? All right, next up, this is the one I'm the most excited about in this blend, in this whole pre-order. This is Lake House. It's fresh pine, icy peppermint, and herbal lavender. If you like mint scents, get this one. It is phenomenal. I've been hoarding my last loaf of this. I've purchased this 2 other times from Amanda. It is so good. The dominant thing is the peppermint. It is an icy peppermint. Then after that comes the pine note, and then the lavender. And it is an herbal lavender. So it's not lavender heady, to my nose at least. It is a powerhouse scent. And I can pop it in and it can go 24 hours. It's a really good performer. But what I really love about this is how it makes me feel, and when I smell it in the air, what it feels like to me in the air. it just adds this kind of cooled note, almost like a cool breeze. And I particularly love melting it in 2 times of the year. In the summer months here in Texas, it gets so hot and muggy sometimes, and I love melting this on nights when it's just so hot and muggy and sweaty and icky. You don't want your skin to even touch the sheets that you're laying on. You don't want blankets on top of you. And so when you smell something like this in the air, that's this cold feeling, even though it's hot in the room that you're trying to sleep in, it just feels like the room is colder just because you're smelling this scent. And I just love this feeling on those nights. One reason why I need more of it. I've got to get through the summer. The other part of the year I love melting this in is when it's really cold outside during the winter, either during the days or the nights. It just brings some of that coldness from outside inside, and I feel like I'm experiencing winter on a different level. Even though the heater may be running, it may not actually be cold inside at all, but I feel like I'm in the middle of winter, and I like that so much about this blend. It's fantastic, and I believe Amanda said this is one of her favorites that she's um, most loves from the list. So get it if you like mint blends. If you absolutely hate peppermint, you might just skip this one because the peppermint is strong, but otherwise, everyone needs this one. It's amazing. So, I might think this is a little chaotic, or not chaotic. What's the word? You might think this is a little psychotic, but I'm tempted to get like 4 loaves of this because it's really honestly one of my favorite mint blends. Next up is another returning blend. This is Old Beach Roller Coaster, and it's Beach Nights, Blackberry, and Funnel Cake. So honestly, this is a really great blend. Amanda has a fantastic blackberry oil. It's like a fresh, juicy blackberry that has some white sugar that's sort of like it's been rolled around in it, so it's kind of like this crunchy, sugary bit on the outside. It's not caramelized at all. And that's the dominant thing I get in this. And I've tested this 3 different ways this week to see if different warmers bring out different notes. But basically, the Beach Nights is going to be fairly subtle in this blend, which is great for those of you who don't like a heavy Beach Nights oil. If you like a little bit, this one I think will be one you enjoy. The blackberry is definitely the dominant note, and then the funnel cake. And her funnel cake oil is different than a lot of the ones that are out there. There's one out there that's got a real dry cinnamon note to it that I'm just not a fan of. But this funnel cake, I don't pick up any cinnamon in it, and it reminds me of this fried like beignet or donut, but not with the icing on it. And this rich, kind of golden, dense, gourmand scent. It doesn't come across yeasty to me, but there is like this carbiness about it, if that makes sense. And that's what I get with the blackberry mostly, and then a very subtle note of the Beach Nights after that. It's a good performer. I still have a loaf in the half of this, I think, so I don't know that I need it right now, but whenever I do run out of it, I will repurchase it again in the future. And I don't know, it's possible that I'll still pick up like a tub of it just in case, because this one is really delicious. Speaking of Beach Nights, Outer Banks is another fantastic blend, but this is going to be more Beach Nights prominent. This is a popular one for a reason. It is amazing. If you like Beach Nights and bakery blends with Beach Nights, and you've never tried this one, you need to try this one. It's amazing. If you have liked blends from other vendors like Surfside Sweet Shop from Teddy B's, they don't smell exactly the same as far as the bakery notes that are added, but it's that kind of similar type of blend. This one has more sugar cookie in it, and Surfside Sweet Shop has more of that white cake note in it, but it's the same type of Beach Nights oil in here. It's the really good Beach Nights oil that she uses, and it's Beach Nights plus extra bakery, and you just can't go wrong with it if you like Beach Nights. Honestly, I think this additional bakery notes kind of makes the Beach Nights even better because it brings out that bakery quality that Beach Nights has, and it tones down a little bit of the oceany freshness vibe. So really, really delicious. If you like Beach Nights, this is a must try. It's a great performer. It lasts a long time when I'm melting it also. So the big question is, do I need more? I don't know. I've got almost 2 full loaves of it. I might grab a tub of it, but I don't really need it right now, and I do see this one coming back on a very regular basis, so I might skip it this time just to focus my budget on other items on the pre-order, but it's one I will forever repurchase because it's done so well. Next up is another new blend. This is Pink Cow, and this is vanilla shake, vanilla wafers, and strawberry. And this is the brainchild of Alexi from Two Quick Wicks. She had such a brilliant idea of taking another blend that Amanda has, which is called White Cow, and it's the vanilla shake, vanilla wafers with her maraschino cherries. But instead of doing cherry, doing different fruit notes in there, and she suggested strawberry and calling it Pink Cow, and she made some other suggestions which all sounded like top notch, really, really good to me. So I'm so excited to see that Amanda was like, you know what, I love this idea, I'm gonna do this. This one sounds like a loaf to me, to be honest. I love White Cow. That one is a huge fan favorite also, and it has that great maraschino cherry in it. This strawberry is going to be more of that fresh picked strawberry, and if you've never had White Cow before, it's like getting a vanilla milkshake that has had some pieces of maraschino cherry like kind of cut up and maybe blended through a little bit. It's super good, like a really good performing vanilla in my space, which is nice. And that with her strawberry, oh, I know this one's just going to be heavenly. So yeah, I don't know if this is where this one ranks up there as far as excitement. I think it's probably the one of the new blends that I'm the most excited about. And I'm on the fence on whether I'll get like a loaf in a tub or 2 loaves, because I think this one's just going to be like a home run, honestly. Next up is another new blend. This is Pink Pine Cones. This is vanilla birch, roasted pine cones, and strawberry pound cake. Yes, please. That sounds amazing. I love vanilla birch and strawberry pound cake scents, and I've never had roasted pine cones with strawberry pound cake, but I've had like Christmas tree and pine tree and other types of evergreen scents with strawberry pound cake, and I also love those. So all of that combined, I just think this sounds amazing. I'll probably love this winter. So yeah, I'm getting a loaf of this one. That's like one I can't negotiate with myself on. It's a loaf, maybe more. I don't know. I'm excited for this one. It sounds like a great idea. And if you've never had vanilla birch, she has a beautiful vanilla birch scent. It's very sweet and kind of almost a tiny bit like a perfume note to the vanilla birch, but then there's this dry woodiness and an earthy note that sort of anchor this sweet, slightly perfuminess to it. It's beautiful, and every vanilla birch blend that I have had from Amanda has just been beautiful. She knows how to work with that oil so well. So yeah, I can't say how excited I am about this one. Another new blend is Smoldering Vanilla. This is Cashmere Vanilla, Smoky Black Embers, Amber Musk, Oud, and Vanilla Bean. This one I'm on the fence on potentially skipping just because of the oud. Oud tends to be a very headache-inducing scent to me, but I might still get a souffle of it. This Smoky Black Embers also kind of scares me because I don't like stuff that's like super like charcoaly, heavy smokiness, but it's possible this will be more of like a perfumey type smokiness, especially with the amber and that cashmere vanilla. And Amanda did describe this as like a sultry, sweet vanilla with like a woodsy musk, I believe. I'll try to look up exactly what she said, and if I'm misquoting her, I'll put it here. I misremembered what she said. She described it as a sultry, delicious vanilla with a touch of woodsy smokiness. So I'm thinking it'll be like a vanilla perfumey type scent with some smokiness, and I don't know, I might just get a souffle of it. It's the one I'm the most like hesitant about from this list, just because it's, you know, different scent notes that aren't my particular preference. But I'm sure there's some people out there who are just going to absolutely love this, and she does perfumey, sultry type of scents very well, so I might regret not getting it. Next up is a returning blend. This is Sticky Fingers. It's Bonfire Bliss, Pie Crust, Fire Roasted Marshmallows, and Toasted Marshmallows. I've never had this one. It's been since, I think, fall of 21 since I've last seen it offered. I don't know why I skipped it that time. I think I'm not a big, like, s'mores scent person, and that's what I was thinking it would be. But I do want to try it this time. I'm not sure whether I'll get a souffle or a tub. The fire roasted marshmallows, and I'm not sure how dominant they're in there, if it's going to be more of like a bakery creamy leaning blend with a little bit of smoke, or whether it will be quite a lot more sticky, or not sticky, smoky. So if you've had this one, where's the smoke level on this one for those of us who aren't big smoke lovers? For now, I'm going to pop it in the souffles just because, again, I need to do a little bit more digging and see if I can find some reviews of people who've melted this, not just smelled it on cold. And the very last one is a new blend also, and that's Vanilla Twist. It's salted pretzel, vanilla ice cream, and powdered donuts. I already know her vanilla ice cream is really good. You can smell it in the blends, and so it'll probably bring that good, like, intense vanilla bean note in here. And she has a few different pretzel oils, but I'm guessing this is the one that's a little bit more salty leaning instead of the one that's in, what is it, sweet and salty. That one has like a caramely note to me. I don't know if it's something else in the blend or if it's that particular pretzel oil, but her other pretzel oil, if you've had like cinnamon twist, I believe, I think those are more of like a crunchy, saltier pretzel note, and I think that's going to be really delicious with that intense vanilla bean note. I'm not so sure about the powdered donuts note, because to me, the powdered donuts note really gets lost in blends a lot. I could take it or leave it, but yeah, I love pretzel scents, so I think this will be pretty delicious smelling. And for now, I'm going to put it in a tub. We'll see if that's where it stays. There's so many other things that I do want in a loaf that I think this one is probably going to not go in that level, but she does pretzel really, really well. So if you like pretzel scents, this might be right up your alley. All right, that is all the scents on the list. This was just another fantastic list. I say that every time, but Amanda really agonizes over these scent lists, and she does a great job trying to give everyone a variety. And I know that inevitably means there's going to be some scents that people were hoping would come back that just didn't make it this time. But don't get discouraged. Keep voting, keep talking about those scents if this time there's one that you wanted that didn't quite make the list. Hopefully next time it'll come back, and all of us have scents that we would like, and she just can't offer enormous lists because it's just Amanda, and she really does her best trying to make as many customers as happy as possible. So I hope there was something that everyone can enjoy from this list. Thank you so much, Amanda, for all the great sounding new blends. I'm very excited to try a lot of these, and yeah, let me know down below. Is there a scent from this that you're most excited for, either the new blends or a returning blend? And if you have any thoughts on these blends, on how they perform for you or what they smelled like for you, down below, they'd be very helpful for anyone that's still working on making their list. Hope everyone has a great weekend. I'll talk to y'all later, and thank y'all for watching.